Passion our purpose, profit our pain. I don't want my name to ever be in vain. A life full of substance is the only thing that will remain the same. Millennial thoughts. So glad y'all are joining me and staying tuned. And together with this, I it's a season, but it's like travel talk. And so I'm having different guests come who are speaking at Audacity Fest and maybe some who aren't. But today we have a speaker from Audacity Fest. Her name is Zaakirah. She is also a podcast host. She'll tell you a little bit about that. And I met her through a group called actually I met her before the group called No Man's Tribe. But that's the people who's putting on the Audacity Fest. And so she's here to talk a little bit about her travels and what she'll be speaking about. And so, yeah, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, you're welcome. Would you like to tell the people a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. So, yes, my name is Zaakirah Demba, and I am a brand cultivating strategist, a professional photographer, a world traveler, a cancer survivor. And so, basically, my first trip was kind of to New York. Like, my mom actually got the chance to uh, get the opportunity through the Make a Wish Foundation to have me meet my grandmother, her mother, who lived in New York, who's from New York. So I was like not even 5 with that flight, so I don't remember it, but that was the first time I really traveled anywhere. But since then, I've just traveled to 10 countries and lots of US cities and states. And yeah, I just have this goal of wanting to visit like 30 countries by the age of 30. So I'm not 30 yet. So I
Oh,
got a little bit of time, a little bit of ways to go. But
oh
yeah,
my gosh, me too. I have that same goal,
that's
30
so
by
funny.
30. Yes, I'm 23 right now. I'm about to be 24 though. And
Okay.
I'm on my seventh country now. You beating me. But
Yeah, I got
yeah,
like
that's
10 more countries. I mean, 10, well, no, 20-ish more countries in 3 years. So we'll see what
oh,
happens.
what? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, what are you about to do in 3 years? You better go
Mm,
on cruises. You can get boom, 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 boom.
yeah, I got to do like a lot of cruises. I got to go country hopping. So
Yeah, yeah. I have that goal too. So we're gonna see it a couple more years, but we still gonna see. I'm on my seventh one now. I'm about to go get 3 or 4 more because I'm about to go on cruises. But yes, so basically just like okay, so you traveled since you was 5. What has been your favorite country thus far?
sorry, say the question one more time.
What has been your favorite country so far?
uh, well, it's hard. It's a hard pick. I love any of the African countries that I travel to. I guess I could say I'm slightly biased because my husband is from the Gambia. I met him in person in the Gambia, so I love the Gambia. That's like my second home. But I think I really enjoyed Ghana. I mean, that was my first African country. Although I have not been able to do my ancestry, DNA test or anything like that, I just really have a
Mm-hmm.
feeling I'm from Ghana at some point, at some percentage. So I just really felt at home there. It was great because religiously, I also practice the religion of Islam. So it was a great half and half as far as, witnessing the experience, the culture of those who practice the same faith as I do, and then experiencing the other faiths and cultures. And that was just great because my thing about traveling is I love to immerse myself into the local culture. So before I got to travel to Ghana, that was the kind of travel I did. It was just touristy, there for 2 weeks, in and out, there for 1 week, in and out. But as soon as I got to go to Ghana, I was there for 2 months in the summer. So I really got to just live like a local. And that changed
Was
my
it like
whole
a study
perspective.
abroad or something, or it was just like you just went to go to Ghana?
Yeah, so I was there as a volunteer trip with Operation Cross Africa. And so basically that is an organization that's like the Peace Corps before the Peace Corps. And so yeah, we literally are there just for 2 months, and we got to travel all throughout the country, and it was just fun. Yeah, it was just a lot of fun.
Hmm. I have not been to the continent of Africa. I really want to go to Ghana. We'll see. What's crazy is that I just got my hair done, and the lady who did my hair, she is from Gambia, and I was just like asking her questions, and she was just telling me about like how they speak English, because she kept calling them like the colonizers or whatever. But like, she was talking about the religion. She was saying that it is safe to go over there like by yourself and things like that. Because I'm just trying to figure like where do I want to go. I was asking about visas and different things like that too. And she was like, yeah, like you should go over there and see about it. Cause I was at this event one time and when this man was like, oh my gosh, are you from Gambia? And I'm like, no, I honestly never knew what Gambia was. Never, like, I guess I knew it was in Africa because I was with around some Africans, but never heard of Gambia, never knew about it. And then so it's funny how I'm like talking to her today. She's like, yeah, they speak English. I'm like, okay, somewhere I could go, maybe not a language barrier and stuff like that. So I might have to put Gambia on my travels too and have to visit the country.
Yes, you should definitely.
Mhm.
Especially since it's definitely the place where I don't know about the millennial generation knowing about it, but there's definitely the place where Roots, the like movie series, miniseries, and the movie was filmed. It was
Uh-huh.
filmed there, and there's
Oh, you
lots of
said
beaches.
Roots was filmed there?
Yep,
Yeah, I think people know Roots. I know about Roots.
yep.
But
So
oh, okay, that's cool.
yeah, that's exactly what. And so they have this annual. They have like I think it's annual or biannual, but annual kind of like a coming home festival. So very
Mm-hmm.
fun and colorful and eventful. So there's lots of beaches there. So the weather is definitely great. It doesn't get too cold, so it's decent year round. A lot of people tend to kind of migrate there as well. It's like okay, well, it's affordable living and there's lots of beaches. So there's that's a great place. And plus, it's such a small country. It's literally the country inside of Senegal, only because politically they
Yes,
split it.
yes,
Yeah. So
yes.
I got
That's
to
what
go
she
to
was
Senegal.
telling
It
me
was just
too.
literally like a bumpy car ride, but it's not more than like a 10-hour ride just to go to Senegal. Of course, you got to go through borders, cross the border, make sure you have your passports up, looking good and updated, and your visas and stuff. But yeah, it's very simple and easy to go to Senegal.
Yeah, that's what she was telling me that it was in Senegal. So that was like, oh, that's cool. That's interesting, to know about and stuff like that. So within that, so you travel like to New York and you travel there. What makes you still want to travel now? Like, what makes you want to see the world, and like, what do you hope to get out of it? Or when you're not necessarily when you're done traveling, like, what do you hope to get out of it? Like, seeing the world? Do you just like meeting new people? Like, I guess what's your purpose in traveling?
Well, for me, travel is kind of my therapy. So even though, like my parents instilled the opportunity to see the world and see how small yet big the world is at a very young age. So even though initially travel was for pleasure, just to be able to see a new country, especially since also like as a cancer survivor, the type of cancer that I have is a rare childhood eye cancer. So obviously there
Oh.
is the 50-50 chance that I may not even be able to see the world, in the future. So just to be able to take advantage of that is a plus. And so I just love traveling to be able to see new places, meet new people. So it's in part self-care, it's in part a vacation, it's in part of just a part of my, legacy because also as a photographer, people have told me when I, was able to really take my camera with me on my travels, the first time I really got to do that was in Ghana. So I had, I guess, pretty much gifted myself in a way with a,
Mm-hmm.
latest DSLR digital single lens reflex camera, also known as the Nikon 3000 at that time. So I took my photos or my camera with me and just took photos, while I was there. So of course, as a professional photographer, it's like the way to kind of show people the power, especially of Africa. I think that's why I love going to the continent of Africa more because I get to show my vision, show my view of the positive side of the continent because there's so many easy misconceptions about it.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. So you so within so like being a photographer and being out, so you just like taking advantage of you never know what can happen. You never know what's going on. So being able to see the world now is just like something positive, and also that you can show it to other people who haven't seen it or who wants to see it.
Yep, yep.
Okay, well that's cool. Yeah, I hope everybody goes to Africa. I know Africa's a continent. But I hope everybody gets to go one time if they want to go. Hopefully they can make it. So you've been to Africa. What have you been to? Europe or Asia?
Yes. So my actual first country that I ever went to was Costa Rica. So that was the
Mm.
very first country that I ever went to. And then, but this was with the group. So this was with the group. At that time they were called Global Explorers. They I think they still have the same name, but basically it was founded by a person who was completely deaf, and the purpose of the group was to bring together both those who were deaf and both who were sign language enthusiasts to kind of come together and be able to really interact. And then, of course, be in a new country together. So that specific trip was like ecotourism. So we learned about recycling, learned about how they really make coffee, the Starbucks coffee, and how they really get pineapple. That's where most of the pineapples that you see in the grocery store, they come from Costa Rica. So it was
Oh.
an ecotourism trip, and that was great. And then that same summer, I was blessed to be like an ambassador with
Mhm.
another organization called People to People Student Ambassadors, and they're mainly for middle school and high school students to kind of go to a summer. They have various trips, but mine was to Europe. Started in England, and then we went to France, and then we went to Italy, and this was all within 2 weeks. So this was more so to me like a little tourist trip, even because there was just so many of us and so little time. But my favorite part was the chance that we did get a day or two to just kind of stay with a local family in France. So it was me and another girl in my group, and she was like a single mom or whatever, but she was all homestay. But then she was friends with the other people who were willing to be the homestay parents, so we got to see our group members and have fun at the pool and eat authentic French food. So that was great. So yeah, I've been to Europe and South America. I have been to the Caribbean. Now that was Jamaica. Jamaica was for a girls trip. But I do want to go
Mhm.
back. I want to do more trips in the Caribbean and more trips to Africa because I just feel like as a woman of color, also it's just good to ex- explore my history.
Mhm. Most definitely. I just went to Trinidad and Tobago this year too. Took students to study abroad, and then I went to Jamaica. And I'm just like, I need to go back there. Like, I need to. I'm trying to hit all the Caribbean islands. I'm trying to see my people, learn, keep it moving, and hopefully I get to Africa like next year. I'm gonna keep speaking it in existence, so it can come to fruition. You know how they be saying speaking into existence. Have you ever solo traveled before?
Well, yes, actually, yes. So, my first real solo travel was to South Africa. I kind of sort of would say when I went to the Gambia to like meet and be with my husband, that was kind of solo, but it wasn't exactly solo because I ended up being on the same flight as the Operation Crawford Africa volunteers who were going to the same country that summer. So, I was
Mm-hmm.
with them, but not with them. I got to go see them for a minute and also invite them to my wedding. But my first actual, like, full on solo travel was to South Africa in 2016. I wanted to go to the like inaugural Essence Festival that they were having in Durban, South Africa, and I got to do that.
Uh,
And so that was great. I don't know how many. I think they had like a 5-year contract, maybe. So it's not like a permanent thing, but it was still great that they, brought literally the whole vibe of Essence Festival to South Africa. And so
yeah,
while I
that
was
sounds
there,
cool.
yeah, and while I was there, I was alone but not alone. So even though I, had my own itinerary, there is a travel group called No Madness Travel Tribe, and it's literally like a whole family of black travelers. And
Mm-hmm.
so there was literally a bunch of conversations because there was a bunch of us trying to go to the same festival or travel to South Africa at the same time. And so basically there was a thread in the Facebook group like, okay, who's going to South Africa on these dates? So while I was there, I was able to meet up with the other Nomadness Travel Tribe members. So we met up before the festival, after the festival, during the festival, in other cities. So I literally got to go to, I flew into Johannesburg, flew over to Cape Town for a few days, which was my favorite. Then I also got to go to Durban. Durban was where the festival was. So I literally was pretty much hit all three of the corners of the country. Even though I did not get to go to Robben's Island where Nelson Mandela was held in prison, I did also get to go to the museum that has the history of him, and as far as their version of slavery, over there. So that was great to go to those museums and just kind of be by myself, because that was great. Because I'm a water girl, that's why I like Cape Town the most. Cape Town to me
Mm-hmm.
reminds me so much of like California, because there's a good combination of mountains and beach. So that was great, very relaxing. Also very modernized, because every other country that I've been to, aside from the European and Costa Rica, was almost third world. So it was also very nice to see what's modernized and what's not modernized, and how much progress they've made.
Mm-hmm. You're making me want to go to South Africa so bad right now. Like, I really want to go to South Africa to see. It's just so cool to experience it. But I know like people have been talking more about solo travel and stuff like that. So that's what I was wondering. I never like solo travel, like went somewhere by myself where I haven't met people or like met up with people that I knew, or if I went with a group. So I'm like, people are talking about it more. So I guess people are trying to do it more and things like that. And so also like meeting up with groups like the Nomads Tribe, that's really cool. I've heard about it that much. Like I've heard about it before, but not that much about it. So some people are talking about it. I'm like, oh, okay, like what's that and what's this? And so I know they're like having an Audacity festival coming up in September. And so you're speaking like at the festival. How were you like able to, I guess, learn about it or like be able to be a speaker at it? Like, how did that happen?
Well, I think the good thing about being a part of the Madness Travel Tribe, it's a free, at least currently, a free um, community to join. All you have to do is literally have your passport and have one passport stamp. So even if you literally just got your passport and just went to you know the Virgin Islands or just went to Jamaica, you can get into this group. You have to fill out a small application on their website, and then they'll add you to this super secret but super big and popular and family friendly oriented Facebook group. So I've been a member, um, I guess officially since 2015. So in a way, it's just been a matter of also following their conversation. So they've been doing it for a few years. I knew about it. I found out about it, last year. But then I had the opportunity to submit to be a speaker this year, and it was a blessing that I was approved, and I was approved to be a speaker for the mental health and travel conversation track. So that is actually going to be on Saturday, September 28th, and I at about 12 o'clock. I think it's all Central Time, so it's not Eastern Time. I think it's Central Time. So that's why I was speaking. If you are going to the Audacity Festival, so they changed their name a couple of years ago. It used to just be like the Madness Conference, but yeah, it's just a great place to come together with other travelers of color, and even if you're not a traveler of color, you just really want to be a part of a true family vibe. That's what the Madness is great for.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's interesting. I just learned about No Madness like this year. I think I've been following them on Instagram, but I never knew about like the group and stuff like that. So that's crazy that you're like you've been in it. You say 2013 or 2017 that you've been in the
And
group since?
in the year,
Yeah. What year did you say again?
yeah, I became a member. I think it was 2015.
2015. Okay, yeah, 2015. And I'm like, well, 4 years later, and like I'm just now hearing about it. But because everything happens for a reason. Just trying to like join in to learn about it now and seeing that there's so many people a part of this and like so many travelers of color are traveling and people are trying to talk about it more. I think it's really important because growing up sometimes like people like they don't get to travel as much. They may not know about it. So it's cool to have like a group where there's people all over the world that's like encouraging you to travel and come and see the world with them.
Absolutely, and it's literally like a family, because there are actually a few posts in there that talk about the people who literally met in that group, maybe met at one of the meetups, or literally met at one of the either in state in the U.S. meetups or one of the out of country meetups, and ended up marrying and having kids and families later. So
What?
it's not a matchmaking service, but it sometimes ends up being that way.
I'm cracking up. That's funny. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. So did you say earlier you were talking about going to Gambia? Were you going to Gambia to meet your husband there, like for the first time?
In person, yeah, we met in person for the first time in the Gambia, but we met through mutual friends. So there is a friend of ours, I guess, who there's a volunteer also who got to go to a different African country with Operation Crossroads Africa. We were traveling the same year. I got to go to Ghana. She got approved to go to the Gambia. So she ended up meeting someone while she was there volunteering. So of course, it's not a part of the rules to be able to be dating while you're on this volunteer trip. So they kept in
Mm-hmm.
touch after the trip and ended up marrying. And so um, I ended up meeting, I guess, my future husband because I told this friend of ours that I wanted to go to the Gambia because she had been bragging so much about it of how much she loved it. And I was like, okay, I think I finally want to go. I think maybe like 3, 4 years later, I was like, okay, I think I finally want to go to the Gambia. So she told her husband. Her husband connected me with his friend, who was his best friend, who I didn't know would become my husband, and he was supposed to just be like my home state family. So he did. He was still my home state family. I ended up staying with his family as I went around to all the
Oh.
tourist places that I wanted to go to, and so we just ended up meeting in person for the first time in the Gambia. But
Mm-hmm.
the way that I describe it is that I basically fell in love with him at our first Skype session. So we met through Facebook, then eventually saw each other face to face on Skype, and then a few months later, actually, we got to meet in person. And then,
Oh my gosh, that
yeah,
is so crazy. Like I think about like traveling and finding your love while you travel, whatever. Like so many people in this world, you like, oh, da, da, da. Like I really think that some people like do like you're going to meet your husband or your wife or whatever through traveling. Say you go somewhere, like that's what you're gonna meet your man at. That's where you're gonna meet your woman at. You might not just meet them in the United States. So I think that's so crazy and so cool, as well. Like to think about it and like knowing people who really do it. So
yeah.
that's cool. Is there anything else you want to tell the people about what you're doing, about what's going on? This has been a real good conversation, though, as we're talking about travel and like different things to do and see. Do you have anything else to let the people know about?
Yeah, well, I think I definitely encourage, like, no matter what country you go to, anyway, just try to involve yourself in with the local community because I feel like that's the best way to really say you have an experience. Because traveling also is the best way to learn the most about yourself. So when you're required to step outside of your comfort zone, especially in a country where English is not the main language. So like in Gambia, it's English is there, but it's not the main language. It kind of requires you to step outside of your comfort zone, especially in places also like Senegal. Senegal's main language is French. So I think just having, especially nowadays, technology makes it easier with plenty of language translation apps and Google Maps. You're able to have that on either Wi-Fi or just get a simple SIM card on your unlocked phone. So it's just so much easier now. Even if you do choose to go solo, it's so much easier now. Or just join a travel community like No Madness and find
Mm-hmm.
people who are legit. They're honest. They're sincere people that you can meet up with, and find people of the same interest and just travel with them. Let them be your travel partner.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that is cool too. I do think I want solo travel, but also going on group travels where like you don't know nobody, you just meet all these people. So that should be great too. I was gonna say, don't you have a podcast called Living Legacy? Just tell them like a little bit more about it and like where they can find you if they're interested in listening to it.
Yeah. So Business Legacy Podcast is my podcast, and I literally just started podcasting this year. I was a blogger first, for being a blogger for many years, and then I just started two podcasts because podcasting, between video and podcasting, it's the next big things as far as creative mediums go. So Living Legacy Podcast is about a woman sharing stories of overcoming adversity with resilience. So the topic definitely include travel, professionalism, because a lot of them are entrepreneurs And a few of them are millennials, the older generation millennials also. Then they just talk about, music of how they overcome the difficult things. And so you can find my podcast on my website, which is zaakirahnayar.com, ZAAKIRAHNAYYAR.com. And you can find out more about my photography and what I do as a brand cultivating strategist.
Okay. And this is just one of my questions. How many languages do you speak?
How many?
Languages?
Oh, I'm fluent, 100% fluent in English. um,
But
but funny enough, it's like it's so interesting. My mom made a joke about it. Of like, there's English is my best language, and English is my husband's second language. So when you talk about marriage and communication, like, we have it on triple. So we got to make sure we're definitely communicating well. But I've learned, um because I do take the opportunity to learn a language whenever I go to, I just say I'm like 25% fluent in various languages. So 25% Spanish, 25% French, 25% um, in my husband's local language, which is Mandinka. And also sign language. Like, I took a sign language course, but I don't hang around enough deaf and hard of hearing people, so I don't practice it. So again, I'm like 25% fluent in that. So yeah, I try to learn a language, and I'm a visual learner. So if I can't, oh, German too. I have a sister-in-law who's living in Germany, so I learned 25% of German. I used an app called Duolingo to learn while I was in Germany. So yeah, I try.
oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know like what you're traveling. Like some people, they learning like French and Spanish and stuff like that. So I didn't know if you were learning or fluent in the other languages. Like I'm trying to be fluent in Spanish and French. We're gonna see if that works out or not. I'm really trying. I'm gonna get back to trying. I was doing it before, but I kind of stopped. So
Okay.
yeah, we'll see. But thanks for coming on here and talking about your travels and letting people know about your speaking engagement. I hope people are just learning about like ways to travel, being a millennial, if they're looking into the travel industry, how to get through it. So this is just the podcast to help, like enlighten others, and hopefully you'll see them at the Audacity Fest. I'm gonna try to go to the Audacity Fest right now. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to
Oh
make it.
yes.
Oh, did you tell
You
me?
just remind me. I just forgot to say something. So for those who are, if you are, going to the Audacity Festival, you can still get 25% off your tickets. You just have to use my first name as your code. So ZAAKIRAH, and you get 25% off if you want to go. It's for all the tickets, whether it's all the weekend, just one day, just the award, just the luncheon in the beginning, but whatever you want to get, you still get 25% off those tickets if you want to go.
Yes. So listen to that, hear that. And it's in Memphis. I know y'all probably heard it on my other episodes, but yes, it's in Memphis and it's coming up in the next month or so. So make sure y'all stay tuned and go check out her podcast and stay tuned for the rest of the episodes on travel and rate and comment. And thank y'all and have a great rest of y'all day or evening whenever you listen. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.